What's good with the YouTube? A convict's perspective. It's your boy, Big Flacco, sliding through, smashing, dashing like it was Jingle Bells. You know what I mean? On the one horse sleigh.
On the one
with
horse
my co-host, Big Senor Rojo. As always, with a little bit of energy, man. What's cracking, people? We got an interesting topic and article we're gonna be breaking down, man, about a past, high-profile informant that was used in Orange County jail. Man, he was actually part of the Sonic case, as far as he was one of the main ones that was testifying against him, as well as all kinds of other members and associates, as well as some other high-profile cases, man. There was a lot of police misconduct in some of these cases, man, and allegedly, this is the allegations now, so bear with me. Allegedly, this individual met his own demise, self-inflicted. That's up for debate. We'll give our perspective of it, but this article is really interesting, and it doesn't just talk about the Mexican mafia, but about police misconduct, as well as another high-profile serial killer that he was involved in his case, and the death penalty being dismissed, and allude to him taking a life sentence based upon misconduct and using this individual as an informant.
No doubt, man. This is from NBC Los Angeles. Jail informant who played central role in takedown of Mexican mafia chief takes his own life. Oscar Daniel Moriel, 40, of Riverside, died from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound on September 14th in Huntington Beach. A prolific jailhouse informant who played a central role in the takedown of former Orange County Mexican mafia chief Peter Ojeda apparently took his own life in Huntington Beach last month, authorities confirmed. Oscar Daniel Moriel, 40, of Riverside, died from what is alleged to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound on the morning of September 14th in Huntington Beach, according to Jennifer Carey of the Huntington Beach Police Department. The official cause of death is still pending, according to the Orange County Sheriff Sergeant Ryan Anderson. Moriel pleaded guilty in June to possession of a firearm by a felon and being a prohibited person from owning ammunition, both of which are felonies. He was scheduled to be sentenced October 22nd. According to court papers, the proposed sentence was to be 2 years in prison. Moriel was arrested in August of 2020 on the gun charges. He copped a plea deal in December of 2017 in an attempted murder case that resulted in a 17-year sentence that was expected to be finished by 2020 because he had already served 4,832 days in custody since his June 2006 arrest in that case. In the 2017 plea deal, Moriel admitted shooting rival gang member Joe Elias on October 27th of 2005, according to District Attorney James Laird. Moriel testified for 3 days in December of 2015 against Ojeda, who was sentenced in May of 2016 to 15 years in federal prison and later died. Assistant U.S. Attorney Joe McNally, who prosecuted Ojeda, advocated for Moriel's plea deal in the attempted murder case, telling Judge Patrick Donahue the informant played a crucial key role in not only taking down Ojeda, but the mafia chief's rival, Armando Moreno. The war between Ojeda and Moreno led to a spike in jailhouse violence, promoting Operation Black Flag, which Moriel played a key role in assisting, McNally said. Moriel intercepted a kite, a nickname for a jailhouse note, that targeted an inmate for death, and he alerted authorities, which saved the man's life, McNally said. Moriel, who began cooperating with authorities in 2009, gave unique information that allowed the FBI to get authorization from a judge to install wiretaps, McNally said. Orange County prosecutors also brought cases against local gang members as part of Operation Black Flag. So Moriel was helpful in those convictions as well, Laird said in December of 2017. Of the 57 people indicted in 2011 in state and federal courts in the operation, 53 have been convicted and 2 died of cancer before going to trial, he says. Moriel also testified in 3 state court trials, but made headlines when he took the stand in evidentiary hearings on outrageous governmental misconduct in the case against Scott DeCry, the most prolific mass killer in the county's history. Because of the misconduct, Decry got off the hook for the death penalty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Another murder case in which Morial testified fell apart because of misconduct, and the defendant struck a plea deal that allowed him to walk out of jail with credit for time served. Lair said that was due entirely to police misconduct. During Decry's evidentiary hearings, Morial, under limited immunity, testified that he may have killed 5 or 6 people, but was never charged. Morial's notes, which he kept while acting as an informant, led Decry's attorney, Assistant Public Defender Scott Sanders, to a scheme in which informants were placed in disciplinary isolation with other defendants to solicit information from them. Morial's testimony and other evidence he provided cleared the way for plea deals in 2 separate murder cases that led to the release of a pair of convicted killers.
Wow. He was busy, huh?
Oh man, he was getting his proper
Man,
governmental assistance on, wasn't he?
man, he took that to a whole nother level, I think, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had his hands in every pot on the stove, boy.
Man, hey, from everything from the Mexican mafia to serial killers. I mean, they were using him up, man. And apparently, what catches me in the beginning of this article, right, is you're not seeing this being pushed on the news for some reason. I tried to search it through other outlets and everything. You would think that this was a big deal. Not only did he take down Ojeda, but he was involved in the evidentiary hearing that cleared that dude that had those serial killings, man. That dude killed about 8 people. You know what I mean? And they elected not to file the death penalty based upon misconduct. Basically, he went in there in the evidentiary hearing, you know what I mean, admitted that they put him there deliberately for him to gather information to bring back to law enforcement. Law enforcement denied it on the stand. You already know, if you don't disclose something in discovery, man, it creates a big old issue with the case, man. So rather than have to go through the process of retrying the person and pushing the death penalty and spending all that taxpayer money, they elected to give that dude a life sentence, man. Which with 8 senseless murders, man. Come on, we've talked about the death penalty before. Crimes like that against innocent people, I think both me and Rojo both agree warrant the death penalty. You know what I mean? When it comes to heinous crimes or mass murders that are just like psychopaths, you know what I mean? We kind of have that, you know what I mean? It's a catch-22 situation for both of us, but if ever there was to be a poster boy for the death penalty, that cat would have been it, man. So here he is locking up a mafioso, right? And then on the flip side, here he is testifying for a mass murderer. The dude's all fucked up, period. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, he just had, what did they say, 4,825 days, Rojo?
Yeah, 4,600 or something like that.
So he was only looking at a 2-year sentence. And allegedly, he self-inflicted and took his life. I don't know, man. If you're used to doing that much time, doing 2 years, you already know you're not going to do the full 2 years. You're probably going to do maybe about 8 months. I don't know. It's kind of funny that he decided to take his life at 40 years old, man.
The only thing is though is like, man, like, all the cooperating he did aside, man, he could have had other issues going on in his life. Somebody might have caught up to him and been like, hey, if you're not gone, we're gonna go after your loved ones or something. There could be other extenuating circumstances, because he obviously doesn't give a damn about the whole telling thing, because he's got a black belt in telling. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say if he did or didn't. The forensic examination and stuff these days is so good, bro, that if you try to fake somebody taking themselves out, they're gonna know by trajectory, GSR, spot DNA, touch DNA left at the scene, all kinds of stuff, man. So it's hard
unless, and I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm not saying that this is what happened, unless it was done by those people.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean, let's not forget, man. Like, there may be a lot, based upon this case right here. Orange County received a lot of attention and heat. A lot of cases were dismissed. You know what I mean, the Orange County District Attorney's Office and some of the law enforcement agencies have been under high scrutiny, and they've had to dismiss a lot of charges. We just talked about the situation with that MA member Crow, getting his murder case, dismissed based upon the witness they called on the stand. So Orange County, man, I'm not trying to push out there any conspiracy theories or anything like that, man. I'm just saying, man, who knows what really happened? He pissed off a lot of people because on one side he testified against a mafioso. Okay, you already know that's going to have consequences, repercussions for doing that. We already know that. On the other end, he testified in a situation which hurt the Orange County District Attorney's Office and some of the law enforcement tactics that they were using. So he pissed off both sides, to be honest with you.
You know, if he was prosecuting for the DA, though, the DA would have that scripted for what he's going to say. You know what I mean? He wouldn't just be in there freestyling. They'd be like, you know, you need to say this, you need to say that, you need to say that. So he's a prosecution's witness. So that's kind of weird that he would bring that kind of stuff up unless the DA wanted him to. You know?
No. Did he go in?
Because they would they'd be like, okay, no further questions, and get him the hell off the stand.
Now, in the evidentiary hearing, was that the public defender that called him to the stand, or was that the district attorney?
Yeah, it could have been cross-examination, but man, I think they would have done away with him. You know, it's hard to say.
I'm pretty sure that they would have.
He's trying to get some kind of deal, and him saying those kind of things without the DA pushing for him to say it, you can forget about the deal.
Well, I think he already had the deal already locked in, just for what he did against on Operation Black Flag. I think this was just. I mean, he just got used to doing it. I think, and it just became natural instincts just to be part of that, man. I mean, he was doing that much time in the county jail. What, about 11 years?
Yeah. He wanted to get out of his cell. He's like, shit, I'll go testify. I'll get out of my cell every day. He just wanted to stretch his legs, bro. He didn't mean to tell on everybody. Yeah. He just needs some exercise.
But you're right, bro. But you're right, though. The forensics nowadays, they know, man. You can't sit there and stage a hit. I mean, I watch forensic files all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just see how people get caught up, man. I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not that stupid, man.
Yeah, I stay on those kind of programs as well. And I'll tell you what, man, I know, you know, all the times throughout my life going through the Contra Costa County jail system, and especially in Martinez, the main jail, the maximum security part of the county, bro, they would intentionally slide people in there to elicit information on, especially murders that they don't have enough information on. You know, I don't know, let's say I did a total of 3 years in that jail, you know, 8 months here, 6 months here, 6 months here, whatever. There has been many instances in where people are booked on suspicion of murder or you know, a lesser charge while they try to build the big murder case. And all of a sudden he gets a cellie, and the cellie just pulls everything out of him. Then the cellie disappears at 2 a.m. one night, and that dude ends up getting convicted. You know, I've seen it happen numerous times.
Let me ask you something, right? I mean, how do the DAs get around entrapment there, though? You know what I mean? Putting someone in the cell deliberately to gather information. I mean, think about it. You would think that would be an entrapment clause, basically.
Yeah, I'd really have to go through what constitutes entrapment, because there's entrapment and then there's also enticement. You know, and an enticement is like when they offer you these deals and stuff, you know, they're enticing you to do something in order for your consequences or financial gain or whatever whatever you got going on with them people that they're really not supposed to do either, man. So I don't know what they can and cannot get away with, but you know, if somebody goes in there, bro, and it seems like entrapment to me as well, because they're going in there with a specific agenda, but I'm not an expert in that area of law to be able to say, you know, maybe we could get Sheila on here and ask her one day, you know, what constitutes entrapment and enticement and all those kind of things.
What about duress?
I don't know. I don't know if that would be a health and safety issue or it could be a mental.
I mean, that's more mental. That's more like a mental. I think that's more of a mental thing, to where, like, when people make statements or tell on themselves or something like that, sometimes they're. I mean, I've heard of people being. It's kind of like coercion. I've heard people being threatened where they come in there and they say, "Okay, we're going to arrest your family members. We're going to do this and do that," just to get you to admit what they want to hear from you, whether you did it or not. You get what I'm saying? And
I've seen that a lot in my life.
That's it. That's supposed to be illegal, man. They're not supposed to use any type of threats of towards family members or anything. We do got to get Sheila on here to discuss that.
Yeah,
You
I've been
know?
arrested before where it's like, hey, look, take this deal or we're going to charge everybody in the house with it, you know, all kinds of shit, bro. And it's just like, well, shit, man. If even if you think you have a chance at fighting it in trial, you know what I mean? Like what happens, say, if it's you, your significant other, your family or whatnot, and they're talking about arresting both adults, now CPS becomes involved. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
put an extreme amount of pressure on you to make you fold, you know?
And they don't put that in the police report. They just put that you
Oh,
admitted it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They don't put that they threatened you and that they
he
threatened to
told
arrest everybody.
we're
Someone has to admit this.
him, his neighbors, his uncle. Yeah, they don't say that. They just say at 10:30 a.m. when we executed a search warrant, you know, this was found in a backyard. That's all that comes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's whack. One time I got busted with the banger, bro, and they tried to do that, charge everybody in the house. And I had a bunch of people over there, people who had no criminal records, nothing like that. And I'm just like, fuck, it's mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My shit.
Well, you know, further going, getting back to the article, right? I mean, you know, it's a dark stain upon law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this isn't the only case that we've heard about them police misconduct on trials. You know, the Crow situation, the serial killer, all kinds of stuff. So I wonder how much appeal action now, especially with this, right? Especially that he's gone. How does that work if they didn't get a disposition from the person if you're granted a new trial?
Yeah, I get you.
No, I'm thinking from a legal standpoint. Like, if there's already been proven misconduct based upon this individual, right, and you're going through the appeal courts, and your conviction was based only upon his testimony, right? Now that he's gone, and you go through an appeal, now you already know about the police misconduct, the district attorney misconduct, all that stuff it's been put out there. I mean, that's clear as day. They've been dropping cases left and right because of that. Now, if you've been convicted in your system, I mean, I would think that this would give people action for release, because once you're given a new trial, whatever happened in your past trial cannot be brought up. And him being 40 years old, still working with them, about to do 2 years, I don't think that what do you call that when you get someone's testimony in case they die? It's a disposition, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they did a disposition with him. I think this is going to give people a lot of action that are on appeal that are going to get new trials.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. Hey, you know, I used to live way up in Yuba City in California, up north past Sacramento, little town, right? And for a while, I decided I was gonna hustle, right? So I end up, all right, this is what they say. Here's a great example of, you know, things, misconduct in general. But check it out. So they try to say that I sold something to a confidential informant that was wearing a wire, right? And I didn't think I did. I disagreed, you know, fully. I think I know somebody that was in my house that actually did, but that's irrelevant. They weren't worried about that individual. I'm their prize. You know what I mean? So all this stuff happens. I end up getting a little year in the county, bro. It's nothing. They never even tried to prosecute me on the damn, you know, supposedly possession for sales, intent, all that. They didn't even bother doing that because from what my lawyer said, their imaginary person that says he got like a 16th off me wasn't willing to take the stand. And the only reason they used him was to get that in order to be able to serve a search warrant because they heard I was like super strapped. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it ever transpired. And if it did, it was by somebody other than myself. You know what I mean? Because I keep a tight circle. But anyway, let's fast forward about 6 months, a year, whatever. Okay, these people were called the Net 5, the Narcotics Enforcement Task Force 5, which is 5 counties. It's like Yuba, Sutter, Colusa, Butte, and one other one. One of their fucking main guys gets busted driving like a couple 100 pounds of weed back to Pennsylvania and gets busted by an undercover department out there bringing like a couple 100 pounds of weed out there. One of the main, like a sergeant in the Net 5. Bro, that just destroyed all kinds of drug cases for them. They had to cut people loose and reduce sentences and whoop-de-whoop to avoid getting sued. So my point in saying this is, man, when there's misconduct, I've seen it happen in the past in Contra Costa as well, where officers got busted operating a massage parlor and confiscating crank from some drug dealers and giving it to their informants, all kinds of shit. It destroys every case that them people have been involved in if you're aware of what happened and you take the initiative to reach out to an attorney, because you're going to go home. I mean, if it's something based on the testimony of the officers involved, it's over for them. You're walking out of jail. It might take a couple months, but you're going to the crib. You know what I mean? And I mean, that should be the thing is, man, is the prosecution has so much power. They have the power to entice, entrap, intimidate. What was that other word you used?
Duress.
They can do all that. You try to do it, you're held in contempt, you get more charges. You know what I mean? The odds, the deck is so stacked against you that, bro, you need these small little miracles to play out in order to have any action, because they got so many resources that are illegal, but since they're the prosecutors, they get away with it.
And if you have a public defender, right, you could have all kinds of action loopholes that you want to try to pursue, right? A lot of times these public defenders are not going to pursue those avenues because, one, they don't have the time. Unless they see a slam dunk case in front of them, they're not even going to try to mess with it. And if you get a private attorney, you may have action, but you're going to have to pay the money. That's the messed up thing about the system, is those that are going to be given action or opportunity are going to have a slam dunk case, or they're working with law enforcement or whatnot, so they're going to have a good avenue to get some action, or the ones that have money. That's why celebrities all the time, when they get busted, they spend so much on attorneys and they fight everything and they get released from these cases. Whereas someone that lives in poverty, barely making ends meet, you get this public defender who has a caseload. Like, it's not that public defenders are necessarily bad lawyers. It's that they have a huge caseload that they have a hard time managing.
With public defenders, you're exactly right. I've seen great ones, bro. I've seen brilliant.
Yeah, I have too.
But for the most part, when I look at a public defender, okay, the reason you might want to be a public defender, one, basically community service kind of thing. You feel obligated. This has been your lifelong ambition, is to help people, that need help. I get that, and that's great, and you could be a great defender. But the other ones I look at is not having the initiative or self-confidence to be able to open their own practice, because when you work for the public defender's office, you got a set salary, no matter how big or how small your caseload is. You're a salaried employee of the county. Now, in private practice, you create your own salary. You pick and choose cases you could probably win. When, like, I'm a client, I go to you, I'm like, hey, Flacco, this is what they got. In your head, being my attorney, you could be like, there's no way we could win this. And you could be like, hey, I'm going to tell you straight up, Rojo, I can't win this case, but we can try to negotiate. Or I could come in there with some bullshit like I just described, and you could be like, let's get them, bro. And then ching, ching, ching. So I don't understand, without being like a community service type of person, if you'd want to be a public defender or want to have your own practice where you're your own boss.
Then you got, okay, look, if you ever catch a case and you have co-defendants, right?
Yeah.
Only one person can be represented by the public defender's office.
Yeah.
So then they get, what they do is they give you a pro bono attorney.
And they give you the damn good ones too.
Okay. But those attorneys are not going to work their caseload like they're working a $30,000 case. They're going to work it like a $2,500 case.
Hey, bro, don't they get special payment when they're that pro bono assigned attorney though?
They get money, but
I thought they got more, bro.
What I'm saying is they don't get that much like if they were a private attorney.
Gotcha.
I had one. Everything he said he was going to do, he didn't fucking do it, man. And he got pissed and walked away from me when I cussed him out. You know what I'm saying? Well, you're working for me. I'm not the one paying you, but you're working for me. If I feel a certain way, he did not do what I wanted him to do.
Yeah.
He wanted me to do what he wanted to do, which was plead out on something. I'm like, man, F you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's like being a foreman at a job site, bro. I don't pay your check, but you work for me right now. You know what exactly. I mean? I don't care what the company says. This is what needs to be done. I'm empowered to do this. And that's your power as the defendant. This is how you want it done. It doesn't matter what they want done. They got to do what you say. They work for you, period. Dead on.
You know, you could always go, hey, I got a conflict with my attorney, man. He's not listening to me. I'm telling him he works for me. He's supposed to give me legal advice and representing me, but I hate when they try to, like, I've had some good attorneys. I've had some bad attorneys. You
Like
get what I'm
what?
saying? I've had ones that tell me, okay, we're going to do this and do that, man. And then they just, man, when you pay for an attorney, man, I had one good one, man. But the one good one I had, he had 2 misconducts and lost his license, eh?
Hey, check this out, man. When I was looking at 18 years at 85% on a second strike on a possession of a banned assault weapon, right? And I ended up walking away with 4 with half, bro. Best public defender in the world. You know what I mean? And I had actually hired an attorney at first, you know what I mean? But he gave me some astronomical thing, you know, that I couldn't afford to fight the thing. So I went back and I'm like, hey, you know, Your Honor, I attempted to retain my own counsel. However, you know, on second thought, man, it's a little bit out of your boy's budget, man. Can I please be referred? This was also a tactic to stall too. You know what I mean? So I went and got a public defender, man, best public defender ever, man. Hey, he's like, don't give up, do it to do it to do. You know, there's some bullshit. There's no reason they should have stopped you. Illegal search and this and that. And I'm like, you know, those kind of things scare me because they don't give a shit about no illegal search. You still get found guilty.
You know, the best time to get put in, right, is when you get put in right before a 3-day weekend, right? Or during holiday season.
Oh, yeah, because you're going home on Tuesday.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the best time to get in front of them district attorneys that will work with you.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Hey, Flox, when I got busted with that chopper, hey, bro, 72 hours later, I got busted like on a Thursday. So they let me out Monday morning. I couldn't believe it, bro, because I had already seen my attorney like first thing Friday afternoon or something. They had already came to see me. And that's when I said, hey, what's my max on this? And they're like 18 at 85. And I was like, oh, my tummy hurts. I need to poo. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I couldn't believe Monday. They're like, hey, Fisher, roll it up. Going home. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the front and they're gonna dope feed me, you know what I mean, and laugh at me and smack me around a little bit, right? Shit, I got out of that jail, bro, and I literally booked it, bro. I just took off jogging because I thought, man, they made a mistake, bro. They're not letting me out on this. You know what I'm saying? And
when they come back for you.
Well, check it out. So like I don't know. Okay. So I got a driving off suspended, right? Because I got a DUI in like '99, and I hadn't finished the driving under the influence school or whatnot. So I got a driving off suspended right before the possession of the banned assault weapon, and I go into the county clerk's office because I have a court date for the driving off suspended. I was going to go in and take care of that, like a grown up. You know what I mean? My name's not on the docket in the court. I slide in the county clerk's office and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to be in court today for a driving off suspended. She starts looking it up. She goes, I don't see nothing on that, but you have a warrant out of Pittsburgh. I'm like, for what? She's like, possession of a banned assault weapon. I'm like, well, what's the bail? She's like, 885,000. I'm like, all right, thanks. I was gone, bro. I got out of that office. Man, I ran like a mile, bro. Jumped in the car. I was gone. But anyway, so I found out right about then that they were looking for me, you know, because the county clerk, it's supposed to be a safe haven for you to go and find out what your legal stuff is with the opportunity to take care of that. But in my case, I think if I would have waited around, pretty soon, hella deputies were going to come from in the building. You know what I mean? So I booked it. End up getting in a high-speed chase, man. We're driving through Concord or something, man, and a cop, I don't know, I guess he thought we were looking funny, man, got behind us. We high-speed chased him through Pittsburgh. My boy ran out of gas. I got out and ran, right? I'm running down the freeway down Highway 4 by West Pittsburgh BART. I'm getting it. I look back, one cop's doubled over, tired, he's done. I'm laughing in my head. The other guy's like 10 yards behind me. I'm like, I'm gonna smoke this motherfucker in a minute, right? Man, this dude, I don't smoke him, bro. He's maintaining pace. Like, he's not gaining on me, I'm not gaining on him, right? Well, then a highway patrol in one of the trucks, they pull up to me. He's like, I'm running up the hill to go to BART. You know, I'm gonna try to get in BART and try to blend in. He's like, I'm gonna let my dog go. Man, there's 2 helicopters right above me, and I look up at BART. There's hella BART police already waiting there for me. I'm just like, man, I had to lay it on down. But bro, so I get in the back of the cop car. I'm like, dude, you're fast, bro. You know what I'm saying? I told the cop, like, he's fast, bro. He's like, oh yeah, I run marathons. I'm like, all the fucking luck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how I got off on that story, but there's a high speed chase story where Rojo wasn't successful. I'm about 9 out of 10 successful. That was when I wasn't. But anyway, yeah, that's when I was looking at 18885. That's how I found out I had the warrant. I tried to get, but there was just nowhere to go. My boy ran out of gas in the middle of the damn freeway, man.
Man.
Hey, you know what's messed up too is we had the scanner going, and I heard dispatch from Concord on the scanner telling them to abandon the chase because it was getting dangerous. You know what I'm saying? They didn't abandon it. So yeah. Anyway.
So I just got an interesting text message, bro. So I kind of got to go get my, you know what, my Yavis right now.
Orale. That's good, bro.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, that wraps this up anyway. We kind of deviated from the flight plan. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Man, this weird little story of how they use some people to get other people. You know what I mean? It's a cold world. If you're not out there hustling, doing weird stuff, you don't got to worry about that, man. So keep it positive. Get that job, advance in your company, create your own destiny. Don't let nobody else choose your path. Have a good one. You choose your boy Rojo, Big Flacco, and we're out of here.
It was almost like 40 minutes.